This is a book ball summary of the book Millionaire Teacher by Andrew Hallam. For money, some of us work hard, others marry into it, and some people just get a lucky break. But what about the rest of us? From cutting your costs to investing while you're young, you'll discover just how easy it is to increase your wealth. Millionaire Teacher discusses the aforementioned rules of wealth for young individuals. Cut your extra spending. Picture a millionaire, someone who's rich in assets and free of debt. Do they have lucrative jobs? After all, most rich people are surgeons, investment bankers, and high-flying lawyers, not your average middle-income earners. Well, if that's your picture of prosperity, it needs to change. Why? Because wealth isn't just about how much you earn. Instead, it's about how much you spend and how much you save. Being smart with your investments is the key to becoming wealthy. But before you start to invest, you need to save. According to Thomas Stanley, an American wealth researcher, most million-dollar homes aren't owned by millionaires. Instead, those houses usually belong to non-millionaires with high standards and even higher mortgage payments. Only 10% of millionaires own homes worth more than $1 million. Simply put, wealthy people are genuinely frugal people, and their lifestyles are often nothing like the lavish ones we associate with the rich. That's the real trick to growing your wealth. The miracle of compounding. You've saved enough money. Now what do? Do you let the money build up in your account, hope the interest on your savings keeps up with inflation? No. Spending less is one step. If you truly want to capitalize on your savings, you can't just let them sit in the bank. If you put your money into investments at the first opportunity, you'll thank yourself in the years to come. That's because compound interest will work in your favor. To understand how compound interest works, for instance, you invest, say, $1,000. If you're earning 10% compound interest on that investment every year, it will grow to $1,100 in 12 months. After another year, you'll gain 10% on that $1,100, bringing your balance to $1,210. In other words, compound interest refers to the fact that every year you earn interest not only on the original amount, but also on whatever interest you gained since you first invested. Since compound interest leads to greater rewards over time, the best strategy is to start investing as soon as possible. So, if you're a college student and you can save some money, start investing today. And if you're in your 60s and you've never invested before, don't wait either. As a Chinese proverb says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Avoid actively managed funds and opt for index funds. There are plenty of financial advisors to help you put your savings in the best possible place. But do not follow every other piece of advice you hear. They often recommend actively managed funds. Why? If you're finding this video to be enjoyable, show your support by liking it and subscribing to my channel for even more fantastic content. Your encouragement means everything to me and drives me to keep creating videos for you. Because when you put your money into an actively managed fund, your financial advisor profits from what you pay. When you invest in an actively managed fund, you give control of your money to a fund manager, who uses it to buy and sell stocks. On the face of it, this doesn't sound like a bad deal. But when you compare actively managed funds to index funds, the shortcomings become clear. While an index fund isn't actively managed, there is no buying and selling of the stocks on your behalf. Instead, when you invest in an index fund, you're buying a single, stable product that contains thousands of stocks. For example, if you buy a total stock market index fund, you're buying a product that bundles together stocks from the entire stock market. If the stock market goes up, the value of your investment goes up. And if the stock market goes down, the value of your investment goes down too. Many actively managed funds soar for a couple of years, make staggering profits, and then crash for reasons nobody fully understands. That's why a better and simpler strategy is to avoid actively managed funds altogether and stick to index funds instead. Indulge in bonds for a more stable portfolio. Managing your investments is like maintaining a healthy diet. When it comes to your investment portfolio, diversity and balance are key. In the same way, your portfolio can't contain index funds. You have to balance it out with bonds. When you buy a bond, you're essentially loaning money to an organisation, normally a government or a company. In return, they promise to give you interest every year and to pay you back when the loan expires. The return you get from a bond is predictable. It's not very high. Sure, you'll get interest, but often it's just enough to keep up with inflation. Bonds are useful as they are non-volatile. A bad year for the stock market can drastically change the value of your index fund investments. Bonds don't fluctuate nearly as much. And because of their resilience in the face of market changes, bonds can stabilize your investment portfolio. One rule of thumb says to take your age and then subtract 10. Whatever you're left with is a percentage of your total investments that should be in bonds. So, if you're 22, that means 12% of your portfolio should consist of bonds. Fight the temptation to time the market. Unfortunately, even with all the data, historical reports, and records, no one can account for the most puzzling fluctuations or explain what caused the market to rise and fall. Your chances of predicting market future trends are practically zero. In the late 1990s, technology stocks soared during the dot-com bubble. With shared values skyrocketing, everyone wanted a piece of newfangled digital companies like Nortel Networks and Priceline.com. But the bubble burst, as bubbles always do, and investors lost millions. Many people thought they could get out in time if the market turned around, but very few of them came out of the crisis better than they were before. The bottom line is that gambling with your savings isn't wise. So do yourself a favour and learn from other people's mistakes by staying clear of trying to beat the market. If you can't resist buying specific stocks, be sure to select them very carefully. Choosing index funds and bonds is the best option for investment. It's simple, but for some people, it's a hard program to follow. The temptation to invest in specific stocks is fulfilling. And while this isn't the smartest move, statistically speaking, that doesn't mean all approaches are equally risky. So, if you're an investor with an urge to buy specific stocks, set aside 10% of your portfolio for that purpose. Keep a few pointers in mind to help you avoid costly mistakes. First, try not to buy and sell often. Every time you trade, you incur taxes and fees. If you do it too frequently, it can wind up being expensive. A better strategy is to only buy stocks that you're happy to own for a longer period, meaning companies whose business operations you can understand, or with relatively straightforward products and simple business strategies. Second, watch out for the company's level of debt. If it has sizable loans to repay, it's going to struggle in an economic slump. When sales drop and creditors come knocking, it might even have to close. Instead, look for companies with little or no debt. This gives them added stability, which makes it less risky to buy their stocks. We hope this video provided valuable insights and information for you. What would you choose and why? Stocks or bonds? Let us know in the comments. And if you learned something new in this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Thank you, and until next time.